A little secret. I didn't even drink coffee. I didn't even know how to order a flat white latte or whatever was around in 96. So I, quickly developed the taste for coffee.
Yeah, right.
And never looked back.
A big thank you to Casbolt's Motorcycle for sponsoring the podcast, authorised dealer of Ducati and Honda motorcycles. Hello and welcome to the 10 Million in 10 Years podcast. I'm David, your host, and I would like to welcome Paula to the podcast. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Is this your first podcast, Paula?
It is my first podcast.
Awesome. So we were just talking about the origin story of C4 Coffee, your business.
Yep.
Tell us about it. Tell us where the name came from.
Cool. So originally, my husband Guy started C1, and that was in High Street way back in 96. So a long time ago. And then about 97, I met him then. So he'd already been doing that about a year. And then about 6 months after that, we'd been using Havana coffee, which is in Wellington, because Guy's from Wellington. So he came here to try to set some business up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so about 6 months after that, we thought, oh gosh, we could actually do this roasting business. And so we headed to Dunedin, bought a roaster, came back up, and hence C4 Coffee.
Right.
So the cafe was C1 and the coffee was C4. And then we pushed out the back of High Street into Poplar Lane, which is funny because we're sitting pretty much
right there
at the back of it now doing this, so that's quite cool.
Yeah.
And then, we started that, and then we decided to sell the cafe and sold that and just wanted to concentrate on coffee wholesale accounts. Got too big for Poplar Lane and then went to St Asaph Street, and we just built a beautiful building there. We were there 2 years, and the cafe pretty much developed itself, and then the earthquake struck. So after 2 years, we got displaced like most of Christchurch. So then we quickly went over the road to Chum Street and set up there really quickly, which was an old warehouse. It worked really, really well. People loved it. It was really, really cold to work in. There's no doors. Couldn't really heat it.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and super hot in the summer. So, yeah.
Yeah. How long were you at that Chum Street site for?
It was supposed to be a couple of months, but it was 9 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah, that was funny story. So when I first came back from Canada in, I think 2015, I came in for a coffee, randomly wandered in somehow, and then I ended up working at Bartercard.
Yeah.
And then we got to know each other.
Absolutely.
And that's how it came about.
Gosh.
Yeah. And that's how we met.
Yeah.
Through that.
A long time ago.
So you met Guy, and were you in the coffee business as well? No. A little secret. I didn't even drink coffee. I didn't even know how to order a flat white latte or whatever was around in 96. So I, quickly developed the taste for coffee. Yeah, right.
And never looked back.
And here we are.
Yeah.
And so you're now on Fitzgerald Ave.
Yeah. So we sat and just watched what was going to happen to Christchurch. Go back a couple of steps. When the building came down, we had plans drawn up to rebuild. So we were totally focused on doing that. And then the government announced that they were going to buy all the land up around that area, including our site, and build a stadium. So we didn't really have a choice then. So we went back to the drawing board, so to speak, and just thought we'll just watch what happens to Christchurch. At that stage, there was no centre of town. There was no certainty of what was going to happen to, I suppose, business, where businesses relocated. A lot of people went out of town and did 10-year leases and things like that. We decided just to sit tight, and that's why the 9 years came in. It really took that time for Christchurch to start having that confidence back into the middle of town, really.
Yeah.
And then we found the site in Fitzgerald Ave, and it was an old panel beaters, and for some reason it just felt right. So we pretty much built the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think the only original thing is left is that south wall. Everything else has been tweaked one way or another.
Right. Is the south wall where the workshop is?
That's baking onto Safe Breaks, I think it is, or Pit Stop. Actually, it's Pit Stop. Sorry, Pit Stop. Pit Stop.
Yeah.
And then then the pandemic happened pretty much the same year as we moved in.
Right. Wow.
So then,
Jeepers.
That's a whole new story, isn't it?
It's just a rough gig, eh?
It was, wow, I tell you, it makes you resilient.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And that was a different type of challenge. I think the earthquake probably was more trauma and more finding out about, because before then I think we were quite trusting people, and I certainly did. I trusted if you had insurance, you got looked after. If you did certain things, it was okay. And I just learned through that. It was a bit of reality check that sometimes it doesn't work out like that, you know, and it definitely tested us, our personalities, and where the pandemic, we were all in it together, the whole of New Zealand. Where the earthquake was mainly in Christchurch, and we found personally lots of businesses, while we're in that trauma and really just trying to figure out what's going on, because we've got 4 kids, trying to navigate them and life. A lot of people from out of town who weren't traumatised did pick up on that shortfall. They picked up land, they started other businesses when ours weren't going. Things like that, and I think that sort of put a new perspective on being a little bit vulnerable and trusting people, I think, even down to the government, what they offered us for the building. We had, prior to the government asking to take our land, we had already gone into a contract with a company to demolish the building, to rebuild it. And then the government came along and actually demolished the building without us knowing, and then sent us a big bill for it that was like 3 times the size of the original one. So lots of little things like that take a lot of energy to navigate through when you're already tired and
at a low point.
Probably the lowest point most Christchurch people had probably ever experienced, to be honest. And then so got over that. And then the pandemic, but I think the pandemic was different because we were all in it together. There wasn't one person who wasn't affected by it.
That's right.
So that was different, because then you have to shut down certain parts of the business. Had to let people go, which was really, really hard. Nobody wants to do that. No. And that was incredibly hard to do. So that's been 3 or 4 years of that.
It's a beautiful building though. On a positive.
Love the building.
Isn't it stunning? I think you guys have done such a good job. The design, the fit out. It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Well, that's all Guy.
Yeah.
Guy's the brains and.
Is that right? Yeah.
The vision.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. He's really got a knack for it, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether it comes down to like the interior design or even like the puzzles you guys do and like the merch, like it's pretty good, right? Yeah. It's very consistent with his high quality, high end, and he 100% believes in what he's doing, and doing it well. Yeah. So you've got the cafe, you've got the cafe restaurant, really, isn't it? So when we first started out, prior to having that pandemic, we did have different visions, but then with that there was certain criteria we had to have. Takeaway coffees only, and then you could only have seating, and it had to, So it's only probably been the last couple of years we've been able to do what we want to do, and then asking the public what they want, because they've been told how to go out and spend money and eat, and how to conduct themselves, when all of a sudden it's like, well, you can pretty much come and sit down if you like. Yeah. Oh, man. You can come up and order if you like. Oh, gosh. So, it's forever changing, the menu's great, that's changing. Coffee will never really change that high standard, high quality, the best beans you can buy. And the passion that goes behind that from the roastery team is outstanding. And
Then we do a bit of alcohol as well. On a nice day, you can come and have a wee drink in the courtyard there. The courtyard's lovely.
So beautiful.
It's really nice.
Absolutely.
Today it's blowing a gale and it's really calm in there, so it's really cool.
Right, nice.
And we do events. We've had we did the Pink Ribbon event, which was amazing a couple of years ago. We're doing a wedding soon in April. A couple of weeks we're doing a wedding.
Awesome.
And we've done Christmas functions and things like that. So it's a really nice space to do that in. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you use the upstairs for? Is that internal meetings or?
So we used to rent it out, and then that became a little bit harder with the pandemic and things like that. So we've just kept it to us for training and support.
Yeah.
And then we would have loved to have been able to have that up top, that top area, because people just always, what's up there?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, with fire risks and so many people, that wasn't able to be had.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So you got the cafe, restaurant, event space, and then you've also got the bigger part of the business is the distribution and roastery, right?
Yeah. So we wholesale
Yeah.
to other cafes, which is great. We're mainly in the South Island. We were tinkering in the north, but we do believe that we want to be able to support our customers, wholly, and to do that, you need to be accessible. You need to be making sure they've got that support, and to do that, you really need to be able to jump in the car and say, "Hey, I'm here. I can give you a hand and
totally.
Support people." Because not only did we go through the pandemic, all of our customers did too, and so shortage of staff. So it was nice to have that sort of family. Small Seafull Coffee family sort of, hey, we're here if you need us. Yeah,
cool. And so you've got the cafe distribution and then also supermarket as well?
So we've been in a few supermarkets, 8-9 years, and then people kept asking us in different areas, hey, you're at Horsewell, why aren't you in other locations? So we thought, all right, give what the people want. And so we did. We went into I think it was just about all New Worlds in the South Island. But then that also came up with different scenarios that we hadn't really thought of. Guys have always been passionate about the highest and the freshest quality you can possibly get. And so we want to do small amounts for a good price. But when you're going through a supermarket and they want to obviously have some say in what happens, we lose control of some of those things that we're really passionate about. So if we haven't been happy or the supermarkets haven't been happy, they've decided to not support that. But all in all, we'd rather have people come into the retail store and get it fresh and chat about what grind's really good for the machine, because it is a bit hit and miss sometimes if you're just not quite sure what you're doing.
Right, gotcha.
But we'd always recommend somebody get a grinder and buy fresh beans and grind it yourself.
Yeah, nice.
Because then you can't really go too wrong.
Right, gotcha.
So that was been fun, but like I say, it has its challenges, and we've got to sort of learn how that works. So that's mainly the South Island, New Worlds, and I think a few Pack and Saves have asked us to go in as well. So the people talk. If the people ask the shops for C4, they'll bring it in.
That's
so
it. Yeah,
that's how it sort of works, to be honest.
Yeah, cool. And you've got a new venture going on as well.
Yeah. Beauty at Dukes. Dukes. So how that came about, that's new late last year. Krista is a beauty therapist that I used to go to for many years, and loved her work, just sort of observed her working, and I was quite intrigued how this young lady pretty much ran this business, and then I heard that she was going to be without a job basically 2 weeks before Christmas. She's got a small family, young family, and Guy and I bought a cottage in Duke Street before the pandemic, and it's just been sitting. We've just been waiting to find out what to do with it. Maybe some apartments, change it into some apartments. And then with Krista being in this sort of situation, I said to Guy, how about we offer a bit of a joint venture?
Yeah, nice.
And so pretty much it was started last minute before Christmas, which is not ideal for anyone. And so we set up pretty quickly. So it's working really well. She's doing well, but we'd like to be busier. So now we're just getting into the marketing side of it. We're only utilising 3 rooms in the cottage, but there's 5 other room spaces. And our vision is to have other young men or women coming on board and showcasing their beauty, their health regimes, something that they're really passionate about, that sort of fits in with that. Could be anything under the health umbrella, really. Could be a podiatrist, could be a masseuse, it could be, Botox and fillers, I'd like, personally.
Well, I mean, all good businesses come from a personal interest, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's lots. So there's, just people who may be at home doing something from home at the moment but want to venture out and to be in a like-minded space. Yeah, wicked. Under that same umbrella.
Yeah, nice. So what are the current services that Krista's doing?
Gosh, she's got over 50, which is quite cool.
Wow.
She does the eyelash extensions, which is really popular.
Yeah.
She's just actually put a package together, and it's called Everything But the Dress, and that's around people who are doing formals or weddings, where you can come rent the space out over a period of time together as a group, and you can get your makeup done, you can get your waxing done, you can have a tan, and then leave from there to go to your event. So you're not at home.
Yeah, cool.
At mum and dad's house.
Yeah.
Or you've got your own space
cool.
to do that. So that's quite exciting. So that's just been launched today. So that's something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, nice. And so the 5 other rooms, I wonder what kind of people you'll find. I guess are you open to if they're contractors or... They'll likely be contractors, wouldn't they?
Yep. Or we can rent a room.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, rent a room's fine. Contractors. I'm busy enough that I don't have the energy to have staff.
Yeah.
So they need to be independent as such.
Yeah, nice.
So they can showcase their products and their skills under one roof, which is good. And then hopefully the vision is it would be busier for the other people in the same environment. If you stop in to get a tan, you might want to get your facial done at the same time, sort of thing. And it's a lovely environment. It's got easy parking outside, which is all free, which is great.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful old cottage, which is just really calming as well.
No, it's great.
I took you through.
It's so really good to see it. I think that's a great offering, and hopefully maybe one of the listeners here might have someone or be someone, who knows.
I'd love that, and they just need to contact me, and we're at 249 Litchfield Street, and it's Beauty at Dukes, or Dukes, depending on how you say.
Not too sure.
Depends on your accent. Come and have a wee look through and see what you think.
Yeah. Love it. I wonder what else you could get in there. We talked about a float tank, maybe.
We did think about float tanks. We've also been working on sunbeds, and I know some people go, oh my goodness, do we still allow those in New Zealand? There is a health benefit for sunbeds, and there's also people who, no matter what, would like to have a tan. It's a bit like bars and selling cigarettes. There's always somebody who'll want that. Then there's also... we've only just got going, so we need to sort of save some pennies, but we're quite keen to do the light therapy.
Oh, the red light
therapy. So that's something we'd like to do as well.
Yeah. Have you ever done that red light therapy?
I've done the facial one, but I haven't done the whole beard one. No.
Yeah, I was just talking to someone about that before and how good it is.
Yeah.
I've never tried it or know too much
about it.
It's
supposed to be really good for depression, lymphatic, if you've got lymphatic issues. Same with float tanks. They're really good as well.
Yeah.
Sort of
I like
everyday stress that we seem to have these
totally
days.
Yeah, I like the movement that's happening, and that there's all these new technologies and options available for your wellness, and it's becoming more and more accessible too, I think. So it's good. There's this electromagnetic field mat that I've got at the moment.
Yes.
So good. It's something that you lie on. There's no sensation, or you can feel kind of the energy, but it's designed to simulate the effect of grounding.
Right.
So like walking on the ground with no shoes and socks.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've had it for a couple of months now. So good.
And you're finding the benefits?
I believe so, yeah. I've just got great energy, and it's just been really good.
Great for your senses.
Yeah,
I know a
sleep.
few years ago, Guy and I went to Marua Springs, and we did the sensor where you go in the sauna for quite a while, and then you go into the ice or the cold pool, and then you walk on the stones, and your senses are just heightened.
So it's good.
Outstanding.
Yeah,
isn't it?
really good.
Yeah. So it's just that well-being, and it's trying different things. It's being in an environment with other people as well. That's why I like the fact there's a little hub there, where people who normally work at home, or they want to venture out and they just, but overwhelmed with this business venture sort of thing. That like-minded people can be together, bounce ideas off together, and I think that's exciting for us.
Yeah, it's almost like an incubator in a way, right?
Yeah.
It's almost designed to help all the different people within the space
absolutely
succeed.
Yeah.
So.
And there's so many, like when you see what sort of people, what sort of products, what sort of thing, there's so many, it's hard to say. Like, I'm not limited to anything as long as it's legal. It could be anything under that umbrella, and like I say, males or females. It's not that's why it's beauty at Dukes. It's not just a salon where it's men are scared off. Because men like to look good and have pamper sessions and well-beings.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the market is like, it's just an interesting market, isn't it, when it comes to either beauty-related stuff or the massage stuff or barbering, and it's interesting, right?
Yeah, like we could even have a hair salon in there. Somebody who wants to have a chair. That would work as well. Yeah, absolutely. It's just that hub of whatever, I suppose, excites that person, or somebody who might not even know they want to actually venture out yet because they haven't found that place they feel safe about taking that next step.
No, I like that. I mean, it reminds me of when I first started my marketing business, and I was in Tom's gym.
Yes.
And he literally had this room free, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, look, we get on well, like, let's just do a deal. Like, let's just make it work, right? And so we came up with a number that was like, it wasn't a lot of money, but it was enough that it wasn't really about the money in a way. Like, it was, but it wasn't, if that makes sense. So if he could get me in there, I ended up hiring staff and bringing people into it. And, it's just more people and more energy, and it's just good, right?
That's it. It's that energy and just networking and like-minded people.
Yeah.
Making it happen.
Yeah, so important. I think on another note, like, that's like this shared space here, the loft, like the impact that it's had on my business and my energy, it's been so good, super helpful. So
and I think a lot of us are probably quite happy to work alone. And have that security around that, but also we're people, and also if you look at a lot of people in the health industry, or beauty industry, they are chatters. They like talking to people. They like finding out what's going on, what's happening, what's new. So fill the 5 rooms. Fill the 5 rooms.
That's one goal for the year.
That is absolutely my goal for the year.
Yeah.
Is to meet people and to just make it happen. Yeah. Let's get this place buzzing.
Yeah, totally.
That's our goal.
Is there any integration or crossover with C4, or are they pretty separate?
They're separate. But, we're happy to supply good coffee when you come out of your treatment. And vice versa. We are literally around the corner. It's a 2-minute walk, if that. And it's like I said, it's free car parking in Christchurch. That's so hard to find these days.
That is pretty rare, yeah.
And what I also like about it too is when you come out of a treatment, you don't really want to be walking into an environment where you've got to pass a lot of people. No. Example, a mall or...
100%.
It's quite nice to walk out straight into your car, private of your, and then do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
But if you are having a treatment that you don't mind if people see you, you can just wander around the corner and have a coffee, have some lunch. You could pop in if you're in the area and you're working on your lunch break. We can do drop-ins.
Yeah.
So, we're happy to,
Yeah, that's good. Are you spending, what's your sort of split of time at the moment? You're just juggling between...
Apart from myself going in for therapy,
yeah.
I've had my nails done and working. No, I'm just supporting Krista.
Yeah, nice.
Krista's the one who's doing all the hard work.
Yeah.
I'm just there to say this is a space, and we're working together to make that happen.
Yeah, cool.
That's my only involvement there, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the girl.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
And what about C4? How's that going at the moment? You got a good team?
It's going really good.
Good menu, yeah.
Yeah. So we're hoping to bring out another menu soon. Staffing, we've always been quite lucky where we are because we are a specialty coffee company. So people generally come to work for us because they are very passionate about coffee and our high expectations of what we're doing. So it's people are always gaining experience and learning. But in saying that, it has been pretty tricky over the last 3 or 4 years, as it has been for everyone. I've got a feeling that it's a bit better at the moment all round. It's a bit more stable. I think that might be because people are worried about their jobs and pay packets and just paying the bills.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good for small businesses if things settle down for a bit, because then we can always just all breathe.
Yeah.
Because the turnover right round hospo, any business, but mainly hospo in Christchurch in the last couple of years, it's been unusually high.
Right.
So for a small business, that's not always easy to navigate. So I'm looking forward to that settling down a wee bit for all small businesses. Yeah.
What's the next few years look like? Because what are you now? You're about 22 years in?
Oh, no, we're 27.
Oh, 27.
We're 27
Whoa.
years in.
That's pretty good.
I know.
Wow.
I know. Gosh. Well, our children are leaving home, so that's really exciting for them this year. They're going to uni. 2 of them do work in the company, so that's also really nice for us.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think continue to learn.
Yeah.
You're never too old to learn. I think keep doing what we're doing, because it works. 27 years it works.
Yeah.
We're still finding people are finding us, which is really nice. And just grow as people. I think keep doing what we're doing, but better.
Cool.
And probably for Guy and I, try to back off a little bit. Because we are there all the time. Guy more than I. I've learned how to sort of sneak away a bit earlier than Guy.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, for us personally, that would be nice to have like a Friday off.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Just dial it down a little bit.
Just a little bit, I think. Yeah, and we've got great staff that are willing to step up and yeah. So I think that's probably what we'd like to work on in the next couple of years.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
With the exception of, say, the earthquakes and the pandemic, what have you learnt in that 27 years? What is there like a few things that stand out as like key business lessons? Because it is a long time, and you know the stats, like they're not great for business success, and so like to not just like stick around for 27 years, but to like do well and to create something that's awesome. Like
I think. If somebody said to me today, would I do it now? I'd say no.
Knowing what you know.
It's just a different time. We probably came in at the right time. When Guy started, I like saying we, but Guy did it. So when Guy started, he was in his early 20s, and there wasn't a lot going on. Like in High Street, there wasn't any shops really. So he started, then eco picture framings went in there. Then there was Embassy, who's still going, James.
Yeah.
He came in. Then there was Michael's Restaurant. There was a pool place on the corner. So this all developed around the same time. And look at James, he's doing great. And there's lots of other businesses. So it was timing. And there wasn't a lot going on in cafes and restaurants. There was in Wellington, had that scene going. Mm-hmm. You had La Farre, you had Havana, you had all those other coffee brands that were only a couple of years older than we are now. So I think timing was one, energy was one. I think hard-working people. You know, Guy works incredibly hard. And, you know, when you see those businesses that are still succeeding, if you actually talk to, and they're a small business, they are there all the time, and they're making it work. So that helps. I think over the last few years and we've got 4 children, so I feel like I can speak like this, the work ethic's changed. Like if I talk to my young ones, they'll say that they don't like the fact and they don't want to be like Guy and I. They don't want to work all the time. They've looked at that and said, that's not for me.
Right.
That shouldn't be a thing.
Yes.
You should be able to not work so hard and still get what you want. And if that works, I applaud them. That's great. But in the last 27 years, that's not been how we've been able to do what we do. So if the young ones today can work 20 or 30 hours and still have that lovely lifestyle, you know, yay for you.
Yeah, if you can figure that out.
If you can figure that out and tell me, I'd love that.
Yeah.
Because, and I think different types of jobs have become available since I, started out. We sort of started out, I have a nursing background, I managed rest homes and did a lot of diversional therapy things. A lot of people I was around were hands-on people. There wasn't many jobs, I'm showing my age now, there's not many jobs that you could do this or you could be on the computer. It was sort of, I'm sure they were around, but you didn't hear about them as much. It was trades, plumbing or electricians or hospo or nursing or
totally.
Then the next level, your lawyers and your doctors. So there wasn't that ability where you could just do TikToks and make money. Honestly, that wasn't a thing. Or be a social media buff and all those jobs that have been developed. And I'm sure if we have this chat in another 20, 30 years, there'll be jobs that we haven't even thought about.
You're right.
People are getting paid for. So I think it's just timing, and this was our time.
Yes.
And my kids will have their time, but I think hard work at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think hard work. I'm sorry. I'm old-fashioned, boring.
But I think despite the industry or the type of business, like I have met quite a few younger entrepreneurs through the gym, through the podcast, and despite they're in like new industries or new professions, like they seem to just they still apply the same work ethic, like the old school work ethic. It's just in a new format.
Yeah.
And, as you say, if someone can figure out how to do it in 20 to 30 hours a week and like to grow something, then sweet. But that's definitely not what I'm seeing either. So no. I think the hard work stays constant. I think that's...
Not if you do want a house, because gosh, even to own a house these days, that's next level.
Yeah.
Even if you do work really, really hard to get a house, to get a nice car, to get a holiday, I think those things are a lot harder to get. I don't think they're impossible, because I do know young people.
Yeah.
My friends' children that are in their 25, they are buying houses. They might have lived at home for a lot longer. They may have not gone out for 5 years drinking. They've obviously put different priorities in different areas, but I think it's definitely there to do, but it's not as easy as what I had back 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, I think those ratios might be a bit different, right? The ratio of income to house value, etc.
Yeah, and I was lucky enough that I could stay at home and look after the children while Guy worked, where that's quite a luxury now. You've got 2-income households that are still struggling. So I think just the timing's just different, and it's maybe that's their time to be resilient. This is their challenges.
Yeah,
I think every generation probably has their challenges.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
it will be interesting to see what happens with technology and different industries emerging, different things ceasing to exist, right?
Absolutely. I remember, not that, it doesn't sound like long ago, but it probably was. And I remember when the camera shops were starting to struggle because phones came out and you could take photos on your phone. I remember when you used to go to the shop and rent your videos, and who would have thought the video stores couldn't cope?
I know.
Now they're at where do you see a video store? So I suppose it's just like keeping up and being aware and moving with the times. And I think that's probably what we've learned as well with me managing the cafe and staff is their expectations and needs have changed, and how we manage the cafe or manage the business is very different because lifestyles have changed and what people work better. So that has changed. Management of a business has definitely changed. Yeah.
Yeah, and do you mean in terms of what people value?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they value, what their input is, where they'll put the energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long people will stay, what their value of that is to where they go next.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Do you get many that stick around for a while, or is it more of a transaction or transitional type work environment, or a bit of both?
Bit of both. Normally, the pattern over the past has been when you're in that more managerial role, you'll stay a bit longer because you're working up towards that. Cafe, depending if it is transient, you do find a lot of university students just need some extra money, or people want a few hours. So there's a bit of both. There's a career there in the roasting and doing the sales, because we have a sales rep as well. So there's lots of little different divisions that sort of come off the company. And then you've just got your person. I mean, we've got a young 14-year-old who's absolutely adorable. Actually, he turned 15 the other day. And he comes and does dishes and he runs coffee, and it's his first job.
Wow.
And he's great and love having him. And so he may or may not stay for a long time, but he's getting the basics of, turning up for work, which is always cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking to customers, coming out of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
So we love having people that just pop in for a short time as well.
Yes.
And then seeing what they end up doing.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love hearing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a listener of the podcast actually reach out. Her as a 15-year-old guy looking for just a bit of direction, or like what to do essentially, and it was so cool to see someone that's like proactively wanting to get ahead, make some money, either get a job or like monetize one of his passions, that's really cool.
Yeah, and also, I mean, his dad, it's so funny because his dad's been a customer forever and a good friend,
right?
Who makes coffee as well. So it's nice to keep it in the family, the coffee family.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's nice to see somebody, especially when they're still at school, when they're sort of coming out of their comfort zone, in a short time they grow, a lot in
Massively.
Different areas. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And the cafe staff love having him around, and the banter they have, and I think it's really important for young ones to be able to feel that they can fit in and have a voice as well, have ideas. I'm sure he'd like to be on the till soon, so we'll see how that goes.
What a great education for him, though, right? Being in a commercial environment like that, and learning how people operate. Like seeing the service and seeing everything. Like that's a huge thing for him, I'm sure. Yeah,
and he gets to every and again. He's taken such initiative. Like even in the short time, he runs coffees and runs food now, and like I say, I'm pretty sure he wants to be on the till, so I think that might be next month's challenge for him.
Yeah, cool.
And then because we're lucky we've got the wholesale at the back, he can go out there as well. So and that's what we find. A lot of people who have been in the industry for a long time in cafes get to sort of the age where they think, I'm a bit over this, but I still really love coffee and I'm really passionate about coffee, and that's where they tend to ask to, hey, can I join the team of in the dispatch area?
Yeah, nice.
So they're still in the industry, but they don't have to talk to people all day anymore, or they don't have to make 200 or 300 coffees and things like that, because it is hard on the body.
No doubt.
Yeah. So
I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
How big's the team in the roastery?
Well, they've got 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 4 full-timers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they do a bit of everything. So we've got Jamie does the deliveries and he roasts as well. And then we've got people that pack the beans. So it all gets hand-picked and handwritten on. So, if anybody's listening, they're all doing it by hand out there. And then we've got the supervisor who makes sure that all of this runs smoothly and everything comes out. Because we do a lot of internet orders as well.
Yeah, nice.
So we like to get those out as quick as possible. And then we've got the roasting, and then we've got the dispatching of those beans locally into the wholesale accounts. We deliver those as well.
Yeah, nice.
So, and then we've got a manager who oversees all that production line and all that computery stuff that makes all that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so. And
then we're holding the Barista Champs. We do a lot of those sort of events as well, and that's coming up this week.
Yeah, right.
So anything to do with coffee, they're total coffee nerds.
Yeah, and then you sell the machines as well, right?
We do sell the machines. Yeah, we sell lots and lots of different equipment. We've got Lomazakus, and we work on slayers. We're in-house as a slayer. Lots and lots of equipment. Yeah, you can go online and have a look, or come on in, because it's very tactile. You just can't help yourself touching something
totally,
shiny.
Right? Yeah. It's so good.
It's like, oh my goodness, what does this do?
Yeah.
So it's great. And it's nice if we try to sell things that, or, be able to use the things that we sell as well. So you can come in and you can ask, for a pour over and see how it's done, the ratio, talk to the team, because they're happy to explain how they do it, why they do it, type of beans, because there's so many different varieties of beans that we've got. It's huge.
And do you guys import them from all around the world? Or?
We work closely with Trade Aid.
Yeah.
And so they do cuppings. The team does the cuppings, and they source and choose the coffees that they'd like, C4 wants to buy. And then, they buy them in and roast them up and get to sell them to people to experiment.
Yeah.
Make some nice coffees with.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it's forever growing. I think we've got one coffee at the moment the beans go in the freezer. And we bring that out, and it has great flavours, and there's fun things to do with coffee. It's not just the standard coffee that you probably know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like we've got 4 hoppers on each day, so we change our coffee out every 2 weeks. So we've got Crank, which is our house blend, which has been around, since we bought the first roaster.
Wow.
And the recipe hasn't changed too much. Keeping in mind our beans are a fresh berry off a tree, so when they're harvested they do change and the profile will change. It's like any type of fruit. Apples change from season to season as well. I've totally lost my train of thought.
Totally lost it. Like
totally got so many things in my head about coffee, because we've got so many options with coffees.
Yeah.
There is honestly. That's what I'm saying. Crank. So then that's our house blend, and then every 2 weeks we'll have a single origin, and that will be generally good for all black coffee, but then you may be able to put some milk with that.
Oh, yeah.
And then you've got the second blend, which is a blended of coffee. Same again, the roaster and the barista will have a chat and profile and taste the coffee and say how they think the coffee would work best. And then we always have decaf on. And then every 2 weeks those single origins and second blends change. So you get to go through all the varieties of coffee before you purchase them to take them home.
How good.
Yeah, and get to play around with it. And just because the barista might say that's nice with milk or it's not, it's still up to you at the end of the day. If you want to put something in there.
Yeah.
We don't do shots. We want people to profile the coffee for exactly what it is, because when the coffee is made beautiful and you're paying the top dollar for the best type of coffee you can get, you don't want to be playing with the flavours, because those flavours are naturally there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the amount of time it takes to roast a bean?
Oh, goodness me.
Like roughly?
Well, I think between 10 and 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So pretty quick.
Pretty quick.
Yeah. So it comes in as a green fruit.
So it comes in as a green bean. The fruit's a cherry. So you may have seen those. It's a red cherry. And then that comes away. And then you've got this nice green, very, very hard bean. and then you roast it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all coffees are different sizes as well. Some depending on what origin they are. Some are quite big, some are little. And then so if you've got a single origin, it would be just that bean that you're buying, and then if it's a blend, we'll blend it up with a few other little bits and pieces to bring those flavours out. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, and that's what the team does. They do tastings and cuppings, and they get to profile, those flavours that they're getting. So cupping's such fun.
What's cupping?
Cupping is where you get the black coffee and you're pretty much slurping it.
Right.
And you're getting the taste of how the bean works best. Yeah. So that'll be the time of roasting and the first crack and second crack and all these things that these lovely people know
just
about.
Love it, eh?
And profiling and getting all those flavours out that you want, really. Yeah, but what you taste and what I taste might be slightly different.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, and that's okay as well.
Yeah.
It's like a perfume. Somebody might smell something and somebody might smell something else.
Yeah.
Or wine tasting.
So interesting, right?
I think so, but I think there is no wrong answer. I think that's what I like about it, is if you can taste jet planes, you can taste jet planes. If you can taste strawberries, you can. I mean, there's no wrong answer. It's just what you're tasting and what you're profiling, which is fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think with coffee, it's interesting how there's so much that goes in. I guess you've got a certain segment of the population that loves it and fully geeks out on it, but then you've got the bulk that just like it, enjoy it, order it, but don't know too much about it.
And we do have, that's what I love about being in the cafe, because you have a portion of people who go, I don't even know. I don't know.
You
say, what coffee would you like? I don't know, I just want coffee. And that's really cool because, the first cup of coffee, they're just drinking coffee. And then the second coffee, they're going, oh my goodness, I can actually taste a different coffee, because you're offering them a different coffee.
Yes.
And then they get to be inspired. So it becomes fun for them as well. People who don't think they like coffee is quite interesting, because sometimes they go, I don't really like coffee, but you say, well, what type of coffee don't you like? Because you might not like a flat white or Americano, but you might like a pour over, or you might like a Fetco. Well, a batch brew, I call it Fetco.
Right.
There's so many other methods of coffee that people haven't explored to even know if they like coffee. We're bottling our own cold brew.
Yes.
That's really nice.
That is good. Yeah.
And then we've got the nitro.
Oh yeah, that's good too.
That's great. So there's something for everyone. It's not just a coffee as this one-stop shop. So I think probably people experimenting a wee bit as well, because you might not like a cappuccino, but you might really like the cold brew. Yeah. So it's. Yeah, but it's interesting having so many different types and varieties of way to serve coffee. You can actually find something for everyone. Or we've got smoothies, or we've got cold drinks. So
got it all.
We've got beautiful teas as well. We've got a massive range of teas.
Really?
Yeah. So
cool. Got it all.
We've got it all. Yeah, something for everyone.
Good.
Even fizzy water on tap for free.
Oh, that's a good touch, actually.
That's cool, isn't it?
Spicy water.
Isn't that cool?
Big fan of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys, you were one of the first I've come across that do that. They've got it at the gym at IHF, and I just love it.
Yeah.
Love having that there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. Not for everyone, but I love it.
No, so you can have still or bubbly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you haven't been to C4, you need to come and have a look, because we do it in the old milk bottles that the kids used to deliver years ago.
So iconic,
and
right?
the crates as well.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Can you still? I guess you can still buy them. The milk bottles.
I don't know. We've had those for
a while.
Years. Yeah, original. We had those. Gosh, they might have even been back in the C1 days, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how old they are. So I'm not sure if you can still get the original milk bottles.
Yeah, right.
Sure, somebody's got some stuck in the back of their shed.
Yeah. Might be looking for a supply.
I've still got a few. Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah. It's just such a good vibe.
Oh, it is a good vibe. Yeah, absolutely.
Brings back memories. You get lots of people come in and go, oh my goodness, I haven't seen these for years. And tell me about their milk runs, or
tell a yarn.
Stealing the coins in them or something. Yeah, people have got a story about the milk run, that's for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Well, hopefully somebody's listening that might be interested in coming to have a look and a chat about the space.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can just contact me.
Okay.
Come and see me, or
just come see you at the cafe.
Come and see me at the cafe.
Yeah.
And
easy.
Also, or Krista at get onto Beauty at Dukes. There's a phone number there. There's all the details. Oliver's made a website. We've just started playing with that, so we're going to be putting more on that.
Yeah, sweet.
And yes, but if you go over to those other, the Facebook's good. And you can also book on Facebook as well, which is really cool.
Nice, easy.
Yeah, and we're getting Afterpay next week, I think.
Oh yeah,
that's a good thing.
Yeah,
for people.
Yeah.
But otherwise, just
easy as that.
Yeah,
love it. 5 rooms.
5 rooms.
Probably 5 people, or maybe someone wants 2 rooms.
Well, they could share it.
Yeah,
they could share it.
That's a good point.
Yep, or they could take 2 rooms.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yep. There is quite a big room there. There's a bigger room, and the other side. I mean, I don't know offhand what the sizes are, but they're decent sized.
Yeah.
Rooms.
I guess just have someone come and have a look and meet you, because pricing could vary, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, we're open to different ways of doing it.
Yeah, sweet.
Rental, or you might want a commission, things like that.
Yeah.
We work through Timely, which is a great system.
It's really good.
Yeah. Which makes it a lot easier for everybody as well.
Yeah.
And we want to make it as easy as possible, and everybody just showcasing what they're good at.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Such a good mission. Hey, that's been so good chatting.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Always a good time. I appreciate you coming in.
It's been fun.
And I'll put a link below to the new website.
That'd be great.
And then, as I say, just anyone come on in.
Yeah, I'll turn my phone on.
So good. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. See you back in the next episode.